But first, of course, next month it's Australia Day, and it seems already the confected guilt and hand-wringing has started early. Now, as you would expect, it's coming from corporates and elites who didn't notice somehow that last year over 61% of us voted to leave division behind and to make the most of our magnificent country. You think business wokesters would have learnt from the Woolworths disaster, but like lemmings, some so-called business leaders just can't help themselves. Earlier this year, Woolies didn't just lose customers, but it lost its CEO too, over its ban on selling Australia Day merchandise. Its refusal to stock Australian flags and flag-themed materials was a pathetic display of virtue signalling. Well, now a big hospitality operator is making that same foolish mistake. The Australian Venue Company operates some 200 hotels, bars and function centres across Australia, including well-known pubs such as the Duke of Wellington in Melbourne and the Regatta Hotel in Brisbane. In a statement, the company says, quote, Australia Day is a day that causes sadness for some members of our community. So we have decided not to specifically celebrate a day that causes hurt for some of our patrons and our team. Now, isn't this exactly what's wrong with so much of Australian woke business? Instead of focusing on being good at making widgets or delivering services, management would prefer to play politics. But there's more from the hipster, wokester outfit, this pub venue mob. After acknowledging the traditional custodians, their website goes on, and I quote, "We are a place free from discrimination where everyone belongs. We respect and celebrate the diversity of our communities, including people of all cultural and faith backgrounds, classes, gender, sexual identities, ages, abilities, and wait for it, we're committed to creating a safe and welcoming space for all." A welcoming space for everyone, it seems, except the majority of us who want to celebrate our country by celebrating our National Day. Now, can you imagine an American bar taking down the Star-Spangled Banner on the 4th of July because it's offensive to their slave-owning past or because Native Americans were robbed of their land? Not a chance. They acknowledge the good and the bad in their history, but they come together as one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And that's a quote, that last phrase, of the Pledge of Allegiance that I learnt when I went to high school in the US. And all these years on, I can still recall those words off by heart. My Sky News colleague, Indigenous leader Warren Mundine, says he's had a gut full of corporates telling us what to do and what to think.
We're getting sick and tired of these corporates telling us, what to do and what not to do. Grow up. Let's grow up and actually start working together.
Yeah,
at building this country, and also let's start dealing with the real issues.
We're going to talk to Jacinta Price in a moment too, but Ian Hunter, a Wurundjeri elder, said that Australian Venue's statement was, and I quote, condescending. And the quote, it's the urban lefties, the white people, that are pushing for this. Now, if this was a public company, I'd say sell your shares. But actually, it's owned by a private equity outfit based in Singapore. So just like the tens of thousands, maybe millions of us who decided to boycott Woolies earlier this year over their pretentious, politically correct decision to ban our flag, my best advice is don't go to their venues, because the one message that private equity understands is a hit to their profits. Here's their website, www.ozvenueco.com.au, or go to the Sky website. All their venues are up there. You'll know then which pubs to cross off your list. Now, late this afternoon, this mob started scrambling to undo the self-inflicted damage this announcement's caused in the past 24 hours, saying it was not our intention, they say, to offend anyone, and letting people know that we have always been and always are open over Australia Day, and that we will continue to book events for patrons. Now, what tripe? Open over Australia Day. They want to call it Australia Day, but they don't want to acknowledge it as such. I mean, what clowns? Not only unpatriotic, but stupid as well, it would seem. Now, I should stress here that none of this is the fault of the 9,500 workers employed by this Singaporean company, but they've been well and truly let down, as we all have, by management. If nothing else, the swift community reaction to this decision says everything. because we learnt with The Voice last year that the silent majority doesn't say a majority if it remains silent. The Australian Venue Company. Anything but Australian.